Good afternoon, everyone. Hey, I'm your proud and humble leader of the Hounds of Business community, Mike Asherbrander, the Redneck Connector, and I am rolling with Mike King Biz on ESPN 106.1 FM. So thank you all for joining us, and I cannot wait. I am from, I finally took a break, finally went somewhere, had fun. So broadcasting from Orlando, Florida, sunny, thank goodness. So I am so happy for this, and I also can't wait for this special guest. This is a good friend of mine, a hound. I've worked with her. She is a fantastic human being and super professional. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and get this party started. Let's roll the intro. And I am flying solo today, so this is going to be at least entertaining, right? Not as well as informative. So everybody in radio land, hey, thank you for tuning in with us, and we will get going. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message.
Are you looking to grow your network and your net worth with other high-level, heart-centered professionals? Then grab a seat and your favorite beverage and join Mike Asherbranner, the Redneck Connector. It's time for the Hounds of Business Community Happy Hour.
All right, did y'all see that? Man, I told you I was flying solo, and then that happened. So let me go ahead and introduce Claudia Marulanda. Is a portrait artist who uses her art to help those feeling stressed, lost, or who may be craving to look within and understand themselves more. Her practices are based on her life experiences and how art unexpectedly became the medicine. She so much needed to overcome a depressive period in her life. It transformed her life, and now she shares her knowledge and experience to support people in finding inner joy and expressing their true selves through simple tool that most of us have forgotten about, and that is art. So without further ado, let's bring her up. And if I can push the right button, oh man, lag time and everything. All right.
You got
How are
it.
you today, Claudia? I did. Hey, even a blind squirrel catch a nut every now and then, right? How are you today?
I'm doing excellent. I'm excited to be here with you, Mike. Thank you for the invitation.
Oh my goodness, I'm elated. We worked together. You were in the Hounds of Business, and how long have you been
Yep.
there? Has it been a year and a half? At least it's been a year and a half.
It's actually, I think now by the end of August, it's almost a year. Yeah.
Wow,
Crazy.
wow. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Good deal. Let's get going. Let me, if I can find the right buttons. All right. Tell us if you don't mind, because you're from Colombia, right? You're not from the U.S.
Yeah, I'm from Colombia.
So you came here at age 10. So tell us about that experience and how it shaped who you are today.
Oh, so um let's see. So I didn't speak any English. I didn't know anyone. It was quite a shock in culture, like the difference from running around in the streets with all the kids to coming home to being in an apartment only, not by myself. I was with my brother, but like alone. Like I didn't have my friends, I didn't have my family. So
Wow.
it was a bit shocking, but eventually I adapted, and yeah, so it definitely, now the way I see it, I really value those first 10 years of my life in Colombia, because a lot of people are going back to like the organic, being out in nature, and that's something that I got to enjoy when I was a kid. So it's something that I'm looking forward to doing more of in the future, and getting out of the big city, because that's one of the things that I intend to do later on.
Yeah, and you get to walk around the north and Central Park and all these cool things. And I'm like, wow, you have to be my tour guide. There's so many friends and hounds. They're all in L.A. and New York, right? You ever seen Crocodile Dundee 1 and 2?
Uh, oh my God, it's been years since I seen
Oh,
that.
go watch it. That'll be me. That'll be me. But I got so many friends, I have to go. So, all right. So you didn't. All right. Tell everybody because I don't want to spoil it. What did you want to be initially when you grew up? All right.
So I always liked art. And initially, when I went to high school, I went to a high school that was about fashion design. So I wanted to be a fashion designer. But being that I was such an introvert, that I was so shy, and my parents didn't help me. They didn't help me because they didn't know the language, they didn't know anything. They just sent me to school and that was it. So when it was time to interview to FIT, which that's Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City, I got the letter to go to the appointment, and they just asked me for a whole bunch of things, and I just got scared, so I just decided not to show up. I didn't ask for help, nothing, and I didn't show up. And then another school accepted me for graphic design, so I was like, okay, let me go and do that. So I ended up becoming a graphic designer instead, which I still love, but I let go of my dream because of fear.
Absolutely. And you became a mom early on, right?
Huh?
You said that you had told me before, mom, you became a mom at age 19.
Oh yes, yes, yes. So when I was in college, I became a single mom, and that actually drove me to pursue more of my graphic design career. I had the chance to do, I forgot what it's called, when you go
Yeah.
and work
Intern?
for free. Uh,
Internship. Yeah, I don't like
an
that either. I don't like
internship,
to work for
yes.
free. Yeah, internship.
Well, the good thing is that they'd hire me, so I ended up working in the publishing industry back then. That the magazine that I worked for was Cigar Aficionado. Back then, cigars were really popular. So that was my first job. Then I moved to Interior Design Magazine. So I worked for a couple of magazines. Then I moved to catalogs when the iPad came out. So it did, I went through an evolution, but then at some point I was just feeling like I just couldn't do it anymore. And eventually everything changed when I went through a rough patch. I usually call it a hitting rock bottom. And that's when I finally left my career. I decided to not go back to it.
Was that in 2013? Was that
Yes.
during the depression, right?
So it's been 11 years already, probably a little more than that. I So I went through a period of time that I was heartbroken. At that time, my son finished high school, so he decided to join the Marines. So he left me. And then not long after that, at that point, I was a freelance art director. So they decided to let go of me because they wanted everyone to go full time. And I just couldn't commit to a full time job. So they let go of me. And I just found myself in a place that I was just feeling lost. Like everything that I knew around me was gone. So that really transformed my life. That's when I started doing, I like to say, my self development journey, because that's when I started getting to know myself. And that's when I had that intuition, that desire to just pick up my pencils from school and my color pencils and just start drawing and doing. I always love, I wanted to be a fashion designer, so I always love fashion illustrations. So I just started drawing, coloring, and I was like, wait a minute, you know what? I'm not feeling miserable. I'm not feeling sad. I'm not crying. So then I just wanted to do more and more of that. And I usually tell, like, when I'm in my workshops with participants, I tell that art is my medicine, because it was that daily dose. Like when I was working is what I needed to go home to after work. And then when I wasn't working is what I spent my time doing. That was what helped me just get through those difficult moments.
Wow. Hey, everybody can relate to that. Most people, the vast majority of people can relate to that. And folks in the comments, Hounds, friends of Hounds, they are here in droves. They're not here for me, Claudia. They're here for you. They know your heart and what you've been through. They can relate to that. And we don't work. I mean, daggone. I knew you were like the paintbrush artist, and people on Radio Land. Y'all got to go to Hounds of Business on YouTube. You got to check this out. Amazing art. But you also did graphic art. And you
Yeah.
probably regret saying that, because I had put you to work like big time. I was like, you have such stellar skills in not graphic design, because you did that in corporate, correct?
Yes, I did it. I mean, it's something that I loved. I still enjoy it. So thank you, because I get to practice those skills. Actually, someone else just hired me for something else. But I enjoy it. But we're always evolving. We're always transforming, and somehow that rough patch that I went through just took me to that place of getting to know myself. And that happened to be through art. That happened by just picking up the paintbrush, picking up the pencils, and not being on the computer. So they're two creative fields, and it's just a different way of using it.
Yeah, if you don't mind, because I know people are going crazy. And guys, thank you. I am running this solo. I
Yes,
feel like Captain Kirk running the Enterprise by himself. This is going very well. So good deal. But Claudia, can you explain how your personal healing through art led you to start this career, start your business to help others? Kind of walk us through that.
sure. Sure. So I see everyone saying hi. I just wanted to say hi. I don't know how to get on it or say hi. But anyhow, so you know me, I don't like to label myself as shy, but I am definitely an introvert. I am not someone that likes to put myself out there so much. So it's really interesting that I went from sitting behind a computer, like setting up photo shoots for the graphic designs for magazines, to actually being upfront and sharing more of myself. So that's something that I didn't expect. But when I left my career, I ended up in a janitorial business. During that time period, I was kind of like Jim Carrey, like the yes man. I was saying yes to a lot of things. So I had a family member saying, like, we're going to do a janitorial business. It would be good if you come and join us because you speak the language, you know how to do this and that. So I was like, okay. I've never done sales. Didn't know anything about janitorial, but I ended up getting into that. So during that period, I just kept creating art. And then that relationship ended up getting damaged because of the business. So I just felt like, instead of putting so much energy into a business with a relationship that is not working, let me let go of that and focus on my business, focus on my art, let me make my passion my business. So that's when I decided to create art, but I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I mean, I love painting, but like artists, it's not easy. So
Yeah,
I
draw a
ended
stick
up
man.
yeah, so I ended up during COVID, I ended up producing a coloring book. And with that book, I realized that I wanted to help like women feel better, to relax, color. So, and then I ended up with a friend doing like these workshops online, gratitude workshops. So I think that all started evolving, and then it led me to want to do workshops with women. And then when I did my first one, I was so scared because I'm not used to it. I had
Right.
one person, and she actually, because I wanted to support women that had gone through trauma. Everything was pretty much based on my life story. Like during this period of transformation, of engaging in art, I realized that I had repressed emotions around a certain trauma that I suffered as a child. So I wanted to help those women. But so I started the workshops with that intention, but I realized, like, okay, I don't have the skills to support these people. So I started changing the way I was doing my workshops, but it started one by one, and it's been a slow process because I was also working somewhere else during that time. And just the desire to continue, it has grown. The it has evolved into now like doing the painting events and the workshops.
Wow. Like everybody who, wow, there are actually more people here right now. So look at you draw a crowd. So, hey, commercial break. Hey, you're listening to Mike Asherbrander, the Redneck Connector, rolling with Mike King Biz. I'll get it out. Mike King B, Mike King Biz, ESPN 106.1. I am in sunny Orlando, and here with Claudia Marulanda, art, amazing individual. Here's what I like most about you. You've lived through it. Like, I always talk about this. When you come up with dirt, right? Like that's something that's special. Like we don't have anything. Nobody gave us Play-Doh and things like that, right? We just had to create something out of nothing. And you have done that. And you continuously do that. And I want everybody, I can't wait to see the comments. I should have put the chat up. But you know, your experience from one door closing, another one opening, right? It seems like, you ever heard that saying, right? You can't control the waves, but you can learn how to surf. That's you. That is you. You just kind of go with the flow and make opportunities where none seems to exist. And I know the folks out here. I know there's CJ, there's Dr. Constance Leland, chasing April White. I mean, there's tons of folks rolling. I can't keep up, man. I wish I had a help today. There's Lewis. I mean, all these folks are just relating to what you have to say. And I know the people in radio land, obviously, they get it too. So let me walk through this. So you took your personal, pain and you can really relate with great empathy, right? Professional women or just women in general who are going through life and feel like they're alone. So when you do these workshops and you put these on, these virtual and in person, right? So when you put these on, is there resistance in the beginning? I mean, because a lot of folks want to keep it to themselves. Like, how does your interactions before, during, and after kind of walk us through where people go, I don't want to do that. I don't know about art. But then they end up smiling really big in those pictures I see, right? So walk us through that. Somebody might be apprehensive.
So I have a workshop that it's a 3-day workshop. It's called Color Your Way to Feeling Divine. And that's about teaching people emotions. So my work is actually supporting people's mental health, well-being. Is not about teaching art. So we just start engaging in conversations. I think when, and you might have experienced this, Mike, when someone opens up, it gives you that space for you to open up. So that's the beauty of this. So when I open up, then there's the next person that opens up and we start sharing. No one goes into anything specific unless they want like any details of anything. But basically what I do is that I give them a space to be vulnerable. Like we talk about emotions. A lot of women, I'll say my age, in the 40s, 50s or older, they don't really understand like how to process and manage emotions. So that's what I do. And then we color according to emotions. So what I do is that I give people prompts, questions, so they can start using art to reflect on these questions. And then the answers are always associated with positive emotions because I want people to feel good. It's about enjoying yourselves, and they get to think and reflect on the things that they want on their own. So they don't have to share it with me, they don't have to share it with anyone, unless later on when we do like a little recap of what we did, someone wants to say, hey, I was having this issue, and as I worked on this, this and that came up. So when people want to share, I like to open up that space because sometimes we need to say it to release that energy, or we need to just have someone to listen to us, because sometimes like our families, friends, we can't really share what we want with them. So if we're in a space with other people that are being vulnerable, then we do it. So that's a way of releasing any suppressed emotions, any stress, any anxiety. So the more we do this, because the whole thing in the title, we have burnt out, is how we really avoid getting to that space. Because the more you get to know yourself, understand yourself, you start building boundaries, you start valuing yourself, you start saying no and taking care of yourself. And that's the whole point. That's what I like to do in the workshops for women, which is a little different than the painting events, but that's pretty much the idea.
Yeah. I mean, and I've seen your progression just in the last several months, right? You practice what you preach. It's you're helping other women, but you're helping yourself, right? And I think that's really neat. Like you're just a few steps ahead and you can relate to this. So I wouldn't imagine you get a lot of resistance, right? Maybe initially it's awkward and it's like, what is this? But it doesn't take long, right? People warm up to you, they know you, they see you. It doesn't take long to know you're the real deal. All right. I don't get blushy. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you from experience.
No, I
You're,
get it. I was a person that I never expressed myself. I think that's why it's so important to me. I was what they, when people say you're numb to emotions, that was me. So for me to warm up to someone is very difficult. So I get it, and that's why that's why I always share in my workshops a little bit about me, so people know where I'm coming from, so they can feel a little more comfortable, because that's, we want to feel comfortable and people want to feel seen and heard, and that's what I do. I'm being an introvert. I'm usually a good listener. I like to listen to people, and that's, I give them that space, and we do it as we enjoy the being creative as well.
I mean, again, it's about kind of reprogramming some of the stuff as kids or as adults, right? and we're growers, and so we can reprogram, how we respond. Like saying no. There's so many people, myself included, right? Since you're being open, they have trouble saying no, right? We have that people pleaser, kind of mentality.
Hmm.
But we have to realize, hey, this is not going to help us, right? When we have a larger mission or when we want to be happier in life, we're going to have to be uncomfortable, right? Have that courage for confidence, and that's you. So what you just described, was that the cup and color workshops, the cup, or is that different?
So right now, because I've been focusing on the painting events, which they're in person, I haven't been doing my online workshops. But to keep it going, I do have one called Cup and Color. That's a free workshop. So it's we go into themes also. Like last time, I think I don't remember what we did, but we did we'll go into a theme of like letting go. So what letting go means to you. So we'll talk about it and then I give them the prompts so they can color, and it's a way to reframe whatever issue they're going through to start getting that new perspective. And then let's say if someone wants to feel bolder, let's say the question is like, how do you want to feel? And they want to feel more bold, courageous, then red relates to that. So then they'll color that specific section of the illustration that I give them with red. So it's a fun way because when you color, you don't know what is it going to look like because it depends on the emotions you want to feel. And so, yeah, so I have that. That's a free workshop that I do bi-weekly. And next week is going to come up Wednesday, August 7th. And I'm going to be, I don't know where to add the information, but I'm going to be hosting that. So I do it bi-monthly Wednesday nights for 1 hour, and anyone can join. That's kind of like a way to keep the community going.
Yeah, well, let's tell them. Folks in Radio Land, you can go to Marulanda. So it's MARULANDA art.com. So MarulandaArt.com. Or you can connect with her on LinkedIn. Everybody over here is LinkedIn heavy. Connect with her. I'm going to put this on YouTube. So Hounds of Business at YouTube. The links will be in that description and you can connect. Definitely do this, right? But that's what we encourage people. We don't care if you say yes or no. But know what the heck you're saying yes and no to, right? Like if something can change your life. And we all get there. I'm not being preachy. We all go through stuff and we're limited, and sometimes in life and we're learning. But that's the call to action. Go check it out, because even if it can't help you, or maybe it can help you later, if not now, maybe it can help someone else that's struggling, right? We're all dealing with pressures. Life is hard. Ain't it? It's daggum hard. So don't do it alone, and see guys. Look at these comments, man. Oh wow. People love they love you and they love what you're doing. All right. So I know you're kind of shy, but hey, here's what I'm going to brag on you a little bit, right? We had
Mhm.
this talk. I'm going to embarrass you a little bit, but this is how daggone coachable you are. You're a great coach because you're so coachable. I mean, period. It's got to be, right? Because you were talking about, you mentioned it earlier, being an introvert, right? And once
Yeah.
you realize that, hey, I don't need to be extroverted, right? I'm just going to be a great introvert. I'm going to be me. Boy, I've seen such a transformation in you, which absolutely trickles down to the folks you help serve, clients and women who are struggling, right? It's just amazing, right? Your mindset is so on par. So
Thank you.
let me make sure, because we only got a few. Man, I hate this. We'll put you back on the Hounds, all right? We got to do part two. If anybody see a part two, uh, put in the comments. We'll bring her back on this show in the fall. There's just too much to unpack. All right. So, you have future self portraits, right? Painting
Yes.
experience that for you offer companies. Tell us about that. How do they benefit participants?
So that's a fun way also, everything that I do, I want to put that meaningful part to it. So uh people get to use their imagination, so they got to think about outside the box and create, like, what is what does your future self look like. We do themes as well, but typically the regular one is like, what do you want to envision in yourself in the future. And as well, I give them prompts to help them think about it. And I am doing this for companies because, companies nowadays, they care about their employees, a lot of them. At the end of the day, if a company has happy employees, healthy employees, they're going to benefit. It's going to help
Mhm.
them retain staff. It's going to, they're going to have a healthy work culture. So that's the whole idea. Like, how do I support companies in supporting their people? And it's a fun project. It's a way for people to reflect on what they want to do in their lives, what are the things that they want. It's a way to give them clarity. And it's all about engaging in the imagination. That's a whole other topic that I could go into, but it's helping them get into the imagination, and it's fun. People love it. So that's why I've been focusing on that, because it's really interesting, and I love like what people create. Sometimes I'm just impressed. I remember this girl, she did like this whole forest, and her shoulders were like waterfalls. I was like, that's wild. Like everyone has all these amazing ideas. And the funny thing is that most of them will say, oh my God, I can't paint. I haven't done this like since I was a kid. But in reality, with my support, I have my ways of making it easier as well. But when we engage in that creative mind, when we get into that flow, I've seen what people do, and it's just magnificent. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, we only got a few minutes. My goodness, I hate this. Again, I think you just love people. I mean, right? It's simple. You love people. You want to see them be their best and make their best impact in them. That's
Yes.
why the Hounds of Business. Hey, shameless plug. Look at who we're rolling with, right? Look at the guests. Look at the folks in the comments if you go back on YouTube. Look, if you're looking for a high level heart-centered professionals, look no further, right? We're looking for strays. Hey, don't go at this alone. If you need resources, encouragement, being around, this an ecosystem, daggone, I mean, this is what it's about. And that's why you're a perfect fit here, right? Birds of a feather flock together. So let me ask you, I think we got time for one more. All right, let me try to figure out the best one. All right, August 7th, everybody connect with Claudia, moralandaart.com, or find her on LinkedIn. All right, you won't be sorry. All right, check her out. She's got lots of great things. I'm gonna plug in. You said women though. I had to get a wig and try to sneak in the back or something, so you don't know it's me. All right, but real quick, let's see. How do you see your work contributing to a healthier society, as large, mentally and emotionally? Because you're a big picture person. So how do you see this really trickling down to society?
Like I said, I'm just gonna go back to me. I used to be constantly sad, and I realized that it related to the traumas and the way I transform my life. Like now I'm filled with my inner joy. Of course, I have troubles like anyone, but I'm very like confident in who I am. I have my inner joy. I'm a happy person. I'm not miserable.
Yeah,
That's
you
why I
are.
want to share goodness with people. So I believe the more people become aware of themselves, they understand their emotions, they understand their values, they start building boundaries, they start respecting themselves more, they start caring for themselves more. And that leads to a better society. That leads to a society that has what people talk about, that emotional intelligence. A society of people that they're not just thinking about themselves, but they're thinking about others. There's more empathy. So that, and you can't be depressed, you can't be miserable if you're happy, if people are loving on you. So that's basically how it can help society. So at the root of it is just getting to know yourself, and to get to know yourself you need to understand your emotions, because your emotions affect your thoughts, and it affects the actions we take. And our life is just based on the actions that we take.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, man. I spend more time, way more time, probably 90% of my time working on this and this, right? Head and heart
Yeah,
than business. Because if we don't show up, believing in ourselves and understand, because life's hard. Things will happen, if people are going to do you wrong, blah, 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 right? And we got to be stronger. And you're teaching resilience, right? In a very great way.
that's true. Yeah,
Inner growth, but it's not, you're not going into the gym and working out 50 hours mentally. You're not beating yourself up. You're doing it in a balanced, harmonious way. All right, last question, because we got to rock. 30 seconds. So there's a lot of people like this, right? Yourself back in the day. Someone feels lost or overwhelmed, right? They need to take that little baby step, right? So what's your best advice for someone who's considering using art as a tool for personal growth? How could they get started? Baby step.
uh how
Connect
can
with
they?
you personally.
Well, if they're feeling overwhelmed, one thing that I've seen people do that has helped them is get coloring books. I have a coloring book. I met someone, which, Mel, I don't remember her last name right now, but Mel was going through burnout, and she went to a store and she happened to see a coloring book. She picked it up, And she loved that, because what we need when we're feeling overwhelmed is just to have that space to be present, to not be thinking. And that's like one way, through the coloring, or like being open to taking classes, being open to trying new things. I just be open to doing something that is just going to give you joy, because the more joy we have, that's the way that we can start thinking about solutions for problems. So that's the only thing that I'll recommend. Just start with something small, and just be open to having new experiences.
Absolutely. Hey, well said. We got to rock. Oh my gosh, 30 minutes for me is a chore. But hey, thank you again. Thank you for being such a great member
Thank
of the Hounds
you.
business. Thank you for being a great, business partner. I mean, it's just amazing. So everybody, hey, hope you're encouraged. Go check it out. MaralandaArt.com. Connect with Claudia Marulanda. See, I get it right.
I was
On
gonna say, you
LinkedIn.
got my name right now.
Well, I gotta say it, Marulanda. See, I gotta say it with the accent, but it sounds. I just can't. I try. I try hard. So hey, everybody out there, Mike King Biz, we love rolling with you. All the folks out in Richmond, all the people on the live stream. Hey, thank you for your support. Check us out, Hounds of Business, and hey, we'll catch you on the next week. We got an amazing time next week as well. St. Jude will be in the house, guys. So don't forget. Hey, we're gonna whoop cancer. All right, we're gonna go at it. So don't forget it, and we're gonna roll the outro. We'll see you next. Don't forget Wednesday, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Hounds of Business every night. All right, we're going to go at it. It's going to be amazing. All right, have a good one. Thank you all. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.